Hello. Like a lot of people, I've been enjoying the new Pokemon game recently, so much so that I finished the Pokedex and got to the Arceus battle within a week. I didn't know what to expect, so I grabbed my best team, went to Spear Pillar, and didn't even need any of them. I was going to fight Arceus 1v1. Surprisingly, the final boss of a Nintendo game wasn't a total pushover. I got knocked out several times before even getting through the first two phases. And that's when I saw it. You could continue the fight, keeping your progress even though you had lost. A button right there that would let you skip most of the final boss of the game. And that's when I decided I wouldn't just beat Arceus. I would beat all four phases without taking a single hit. It turns out the four phases may include some different attacks, but 3 and 4 repeat a lot of Phase 1's main attack, which I believe is Draco Meteor and maybe Dragon Pulse. The attack itself is a pretty easy pattern, but can definitely hit you if you mistime even one dodge. Arceus will send out a pulse from under it, followed by a marker showing where a meteor will hit. The meteor itself may not damage you, but it will explode shortly after landing, which will be exactly when another pulse comes out. This combination of moves seem to cause some frame delay at times, which makes dodging the pulses that much more annoying when you're close to winning. Arceus will fire out a total of 6 pulses and meteors at a time in Phase 1 before switching to another attack. During Phase 1, you can usually get 1 to 2 hits in per pulse, and sometimes 3 if you really time it well. But you have to be careful because there is some delay between throwing a bomb and dodging. I also found that using LR to aim in also wasted some time and caused a longer dodge delay, so I mostly tried to stay close to Arceus and get 2 quick throws in per pulse. Arceus' second attack in this phase is Judgment, the only attack that I think is possible during all 4 phases, although I'm not sure I actually ever saw it in Phase 4. Arceus will shine a ball of light over his head that will send out multiple homing beams. This attack is simple enough to dodge, but will leave you no time to throw bombs in between the beams, so you'll just have to dodge the 6 attacks and then throw some bombs while he's switching into his next attack. During Phase 1, Arceus seemed to always alternate between the Draco Meteor and Judgment attacks. If you deplete the first health bar during the pulse attack, Arceus will stop sending out pulses, although this is only true for Phase 1 and not Phase 3, which I learned. Once you empty the first bar, Arceus will not take more damage until it turns red, which means you can get a couple of bombs in before the phase actually begins. Phase 2 still has the ability to use Judgment, but all the other attacks in this phase are brand new. The attack Arceus started the phase with most often for me was a teleport followed by covering the entire field except for a circle around Arceus in a pink hue. After a few seconds, the pink will flash and then explode to damage you if you're either outside the circle or don't correctly time your dodge. Luckily, this is easy enough. I actually found a way to get about 6 free hits on Arceus by delaying when I dodged out of the danger zone. If you leave the pink area before the attack flashes, Arceus will directly move on to its next attack. But if you wait to leave the pink after it flashes, Arceus will launch the entire attack again, giving you several free seconds to spam bombs. You also don't have to worry about another attack coming out, as Arceus will always teleport before starting another attack in this phase. The other new attack in Phase 2 is something similar to Phantom Force, where Arceus will vanish and the music will quieten. During this, I usually ran around the outside of the arena while facing toward the middle, where a crack will appear and then widen. This attack is easy enough to dodge, just wait until Arceus breaks out shortly after the second crack, and roll to one side as it charges you. If you're close enough to the outer ring, you can even hit him with a bomb before he teleports away. These are the primary attacks you'll see until you hit Phase 3, where Arceus will switch back to blue form and remain in it for the last 2 phases. During Phase 3, Arceus will start using Dragon Pulse and Draco Meteor 6 times once again, but it is significantly faster. Instead of having time to throw 2 or 3 bombs, I usually only had time to throw 1 before preparing to dodge again. This was honestly what costed me most of my runs. Another thing to keep in mind is that Arceus can immediately start another cycle of this attack after finishing one, or after any other attack. So you don't have as much time as you might think after each attack to throw multiple bombs. Judgment will also make a return, but is mostly unchanged from what I could tell at least. The last two attacks are the ones that you can stun Arceus and use your Pokemon to weaken him to allow you to throw multiple free bombs. But I did say I was doing this damageless, and I'm going to include my Pokemon as a part of that. Since I didn't have a level 100 Mon that can one-shot Arceus, I decided to let my team stay on the sidelines. The first new attack is easy enough. Arceus will spawn several pink orbs around it and go into a charging pose. Each time you hit Arceus with a bomb, one of these orbs will disappear. If all of them disappear, Arceus will be stunned for a short time, and this is where you could send out a Pokemon if you chose to. However, while charging, Arceus will send out slow pulses that can easily trip you up while you're trying to hastily throw bombs, so be sure you have time to dodge in between throws. If you don't hit Arceus enough times, it will unleash a giant explosion that, to my experience, is impossible to dodge. Even if you do stun Arceus in this phase, keep in mind that the stun time is surprisingly short, and Arceus can immediately start sending out Dragon Pulses right afterwards. The last attack was actually very uncommon. So uncommon that I may not even have enough footage of it, because I only saw it a handful of times in my many attempts. But it is essentially a combination of Phase 2's Pink Pulse and Phase 3's Charging Orb attack. 3 blurry visions of Arceus will appear with a safe circle surrounding one of them at a time. Attacking 2 of them during this is pointless, but one will have a slight red glow and will also be the last to vanish. After 2 pulse attacks are set off and the final Arceus remains, it will build up similar to the pink orb form, and you'll have to hit it with enough bombs to stun it once again. This attack was difficult the few times I encountered it, but again, I never really did encounter it, so if you decide to attempt this, maybe you'll get lucky as well. So, after all this, dozens of tries, I finally got an attempt that looks promising, and my Elgato didn't capture the battle. I did get hit after the battle was over, when the game had kind of stopped moving, so I didn't know if I should count it, but I suppose the capture card made that decision for me. After a quick reset, I started to try again, only to encounter another roadblock. The first time you fought Arceus, you can quickly restart in the menu directly after losing, meaning you'll get to retry again without having to wait too long. But after winning against Arceus once, you have to go through a menu to ask for a rematch, then a menu to choose Arceus, and then you have to watch a cutscene and let the game load for about a minute each time. If you lose, or in my case, you get hit one time, you get sent back to the sphere pillar where your character sadly shakes his or her head, and you start the process all over again. Menu, cutscene, loading scene, and battle. So, after a few dozen more attempts on my part, I patiently learned the patterns, and this is what happened. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll have more content on the channel soon. If one person subscribes after watching this, I'll give my little brother my newest shiny, Goldylicks.